Everybody. It's meteorologist Hutch Johnson, continuing to cover storms for you. Lost my voice there for a second. It's been a very long day. We'll keep you out of the storms here. Bottom line, very windy storms are working their way in towards Grand Forks, towards Fargo, through Valley City right now. The line of storms making their way through extremely dangerous 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts heading in the general direction of the Highway 200 corridor right now. So from Cooperstown through Mayville, you can anticipate gusts up to 80 miles per hour. New warning has been issued for Cass County. It does not yet include Fargo Moorhead. Paul, thank you. Thanks for joining me. Here's another look uh, at what we have going on. Thanks, Scott, for your feedback as well. All right, here we go. Storms are working their way off to the east at a interesting clip of speed right here. For instance, the thunderstorm warning that you see for the area right here towards Larimore, Michigan, Niagara. Tornado possible tag, as you see here. What that means is that that jagged edge on the right side of the storm that you see, that jagged edge, capable any time of producing a tornado along this boundary right here. So right here near Michigan, and right here in particular, just north of Netta and south of the Niagara area, that's a little notch forming along there where we could be having a very high likelihood of a spin up taking place. And some of these spin ups will be brief. On the north side of this storm, the hail threat is not huge, but the wind threat is 70 mile per hour observed winds with this storm. Not every single community or town is going to get the 70 mile per hour winds, but some indeed will. So again, this part of the storm here, jagged, a little notch taken out of it right there where that bite's taken out. That's where I would be concerned about a tornado. I saw a post here moments ago. You asking me, should I take my kids to the basement? I'm in Valley City. If you're in the path of this storm, I would take the kids to the basement. I would get my family to where things were safer. These winds will be coming at you from the west. In some instances, they'll be west, southwest. In other instances, down to the south, near the South Dakota border, the gusty winds will come from the northwest. All things considered, the general direction of these winds will be from west to east. Here's a bowing line segment. See that huge bow? This is a huge bow and arrow, right? That's like me pulling back on a bow and releasing right here. At the apex of the bow right here is often where we see some of the strongest winds. Just north of the apex is where we have a great chance of tornadoes. And looky right there. Looky right there is a neat little notch taken out of that storm. Right here, it's starting to show up just not far from the Clifford area. So again, isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out. If you're in the Mayville area, look at the speed that this puppy's moving. This is unbelievable. It's moving east at 71 miles per hour, folks. At this clip, this is a very fast rate of speed for a surface storm to be moving at 71 miles per hour. So it's going to take no time to be in Northwood. It's going to take no time to be in Mayville. How much time, Hutch? I said no time. Here we go. So for this segment of storms here, I can't even drag it out to 71. We'll have to stick with 69. Northwood 3.43 or 343, pardon me, is the time when it'll be in Northwood. Now that gives you, 8 minutes. 8 minutes is it to get to your safe place. You're hearing the rumbles of thunder. You're like, oh, what's up, Hutch? Well, this is what's up. Gusty winds upwards of 70 to 80 mile per hour gusts possible along this line. Not every community will see that, but it's possible. Hatton, Northwood, Mayville by 346. Hillsborough, if it continues, you're not in the warning in Hillsborough, but it says Hillsborough 356. How about Galesburg as well? Galesburg, you're in the path of that particular storm as it's moving. Because it's moving so fast, their plates is behind Hutch's head here. I'm going to duck off so you can take a look. Ready? There we go. Um, this puppy's heading towards Crookston by 4:18, so within 45 minutes. So the blue box goes out 1 hour. So Gary, Fertile, Crookston, you're all in the path of this windy, burping line of storms as it makes its way off to the east Twin Valley as well. But for now, the warning extends out to Mayville, Northwood, Galesburg. Your communities are in the path of a very dangerous line of storms. Tornadoes are possible along the leading edge. Not everyone's going to see them. More of us will have straight line wind damage from these storms, but we can't rule out a tornado. Now let's take a look at the Cass County area. Now this line of storms that starts in and around the Page area heading towards Arthur, Hunter, Amenia, and Castleton, Mapleton, and West Fargo, Buffalo, Alice, Leonard. These storms here are moving at a clip of about 56 miles per hour. 70-mile-per-hour winds have been observed with this all the way along the interstate. Look at Valley City here, 74-mile-per-hour gust in Valley City moments ago, 309. And down south, we've already had 69-mile-per-hour gusts in both Jamestown and Montpelier. So keep that in mind as these storms are racing their way across. Now, with regards to this, I am going to go ahead and pop my mug up here one more time. You see this little thing that looks like a sawtooth right there? That's one area where the surging wind is coming out of the storm through Buffalo, and on the north side, it's a little slower and it could cause a spin up there. That's an area of concern for a spin up down near Enderlin. Unfortunately, is another area where we're starting to see this surge outward and the possibility for a spin up. So, Enderlin, oh man, my heart's with you as well in this situation. It's a lot scary. This is a thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but the National Weather Service says a tornado is possible. This is in no way like the same type of storm system that moved through in June where it was a devastating mile-wide tornado and tornadic supercell thunderstorm. This is a line of thunderstorms producing, just terrible winds along the way. And there could be brief spin-ups along that one position where we could be seeing that north of Buffalo, another one near Enderlin. So keep that in mind. Now, this line moving at 56 miles per hour, let me time this out for all of our fine folks in this particular vicinity right here. And I'll draw the jag tooth line here the best that I could. And we'll put it in there about 55 to 58 miles per hour. This storm will be in Castleton by 352, Harwood by 409, Fargo, Moorhead, look at that, 414. So we're less than we're basically about a half hour away from this storm pushing in. So West Fargo, 408, you'll be the first ones to feel it out there, as well as the Mapleton area. Glendon, Ada, Barnesville, and Hawley on the outside of this storm. You are not in the warning in those communities, but because of just how fast these storms are moving. So earlier in the evening, we were estimating on Hutch's fancy pants graphic there of about 5 a.m. time frame of arrival. It's going to be here about an hour early because this puppy has caught the train and it's moving at 55 miles per hour. Just north up in Mayville, the storms are moving at 70 miles per hour. Taking a closer look at some of the jagged edges and what's going on with these. Buffalo, you've got some near you and just north of you. There's a jagged edge there. You see that little bite taken out of the storm right there. A couple different areas where there could be some. And in fact, if you look at the individual pixels, this is why Hutch likes to look at individual pixels. It don't look pretty. I don't care about pretty. This helps me see where we're getting features like this. I'll throw the smoothed radar up that most of us see in different forms. It says, help me. Heck to the no. No, this don't help me at all. It looks a little jagged, but I'm not seeing what looks like almost just the storm wrapping and spinning right there around that point. That's the kind of detail that you want to see when you're looking at this information, trying to figure out where the dangerous stuff is. So spinning here, spinning a little here, spinning a little down here towards the Enderlin area. So if you are in the path of these storms, make no mistake about it, gusty wind, the number one threat, smaller hail, and indeed isolated tornadoes can't be ruled out. That's one reason I feel compelled to make sure I'm still with you. Now, Grand Forks, these storms are on the outside here. On the north side, you can see they're kind of lagging. These are pushing in real fast towards Mayville. 70-mile-per-hour storm movement. These, they're not lollygagging, they're still moving, but not nearly as fast. So they're taking their time getting to you. Most models have these storms leaning into Grand Forks first and then Fargo. This is gonna, see what I mean? These storms have a mind of their own, and that's what we're seeing transpire tonight. So now let's take a look at what's going on. Petersburg to Larimore, these storms here, estimated rate of speed about 56 miles per hour, like the storms to the south. As we time these out for your communities, from Fordville through Petersburg, Larimore, and Northwood, which is getting the storm right now. Oh, let's do 55 mile per hour for an estimate. Fordville, 348. Larimore, you'll be seeing the storm is at 350. Minto and Manville at about 410. We'll start seeing them push into your area. And on the outside, again, you're not in a warning right now, Grand Forks, but you likely will be. The storm currently estimated to be for you in East Grand Forks by 417, Oslo, Alvarado, and Warren, all in the path of this storm. This windy line of thunderstorms here. That's what's going on right now. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to leave this stream running. And as I need to go take a break, go get water, it's been a very, very long day. We'll keep you posted here, but I will leave the radar up so you can see warnings as they're issued. Taking a look here at what's going on, Cavalier, Mountain, Walhalla, this cluster of thunderstorms here, non-severe at this time at the 3:43 time frame. There is some hail indication here, and a couple of the cells may meet mainly between Park River and the Milton area, but it's not huge hail. We're talking smaller than nickel size, likely smaller than half-inch in diameter size. So here's what's changed since earlier this evening when the storms were in Bismarck. There was a serious hail threat out to the west. The hail threat, we're not seeing as many pinks or blues on Hutch's radar display. That's a good thing for hail. However, as we take a look at this, the wind is taken over, and that's a solid line of storms. There's going to be communities in between and in places that get very little. They get buckets, but the rest of us get quite a bit. Now, let's all watch this together. I've heard from you and you and you and this guy over here and this person over there. It seems like the storm always splits around me. Let's watch something. This looks like a solid line of thunderstorms. Looks like everybody should be getting a thunderstorm. No. The radar beam, as it goes away from Mayville, expands like this. So it gets wider and wider and wider as it gets farther away from the radar. You can kind of see that in the pixel size that you'll see on the radar display that we're showing here. That said, as a thunderstorm gets closer, it's not a big solid thunderstorm. It becomes a smaller, more dialed in view of the storm. So as storms approach the radar site, the individual isolated thunderstorm cells start popping out. So here we've got a thunderstorm core right here, in between it some heavy rain, and over here it looks like we have another cell. One, two thunderstorm updrafts right there. In between downdrafts, and yes, you're getting rain, but that's the heavy rain part. Remember how I say what the north side of town might get a gully washer? Here's your gully washer. Then on the south side of town, you're not getting as much. Most of us will see some pretty heavy rain with these storms, so it does look like a pretty solid wall of storms. But we can all count the times that these storms look like this moving to Fargo, and it looks like there's a dome over Fargo or a dome over Grand Forks. Nope. It's just where the individual thunderstorm actually decides to go. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Edgeley, Oaks, Ellendale, your area seeing some thunderstorms. These are a little bit less organized, but we are getting some wind measurements down here with wind gusts over 56 miles per hour. It looks like 50, 69 mile per hour gusts there. That's by Montpelier. That's right. We measured that earlier. We mentioned that earlier. 57 mile per hour gust here for the Marion area. So strong line of thunderstorms there. And look at Aberdeen. We've got a line there. Let's go to the Aberdeen radar for our friends down there in northeast South Dakota. Line of thunderstorm wind reports out here all the way from Linton, Hazelton, Wishick, all the way out west of Mobridge and Corson County, McPherson County, all the way in towards the Gettysburg area here. Speaking of Gettysburg and on Lake Oahe here, that's a 67 mile per hour gust that was measured at 321. So those puppies don't look quite as robust down here, but they are pumping out some burps of wind. Okay. All right. So here's what's going to happen. Thunderstorm warning is in effect now for Grand Forks, Larimore. This storm is on the doorstep of Larimore. We were just talking about this particular storm. Here's the very latest. I like this. This is a smaller sized warning box, which is a little bit easier for us to all pallet, 49 mile per hour movement, hail less than 3/4 of an inch. So the hail is less than severe. Severe is 1 inch hail. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, though, are going to be possible with that northern fringe of storms making their way in now. So again, at that rate of speed, let's track this again. We just did this, but we'll do it again. Larimore, it's moving into town now, moving in at about 50 miles per hour. Here we go, Grand Forks, Manville, 417, Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, 422. So that's when they should arrive there. Alvarado, Oslo, about 425 or so, they'll be making their way into your neck of the woods and beyond, and beyond as the storms continue to make their way off to the east. Mayville, these storms are right on your doorstep. And check this little nugget out here. You see that little notch taking out a storm? You can almost see it curling back. This is a burp of wind here. And just like a wind rolling around a building or whatever, it kind of curls around like that around the slower moving speeds up to the north. And in those pockets, we can get ourselves a little bit of a spin up there. There's no tornado warning in place, but the National Weather Service has used this tag, we call it a tag. It says, oh, tornado could be possible, destructive threat with this particular storm. Okay, so 80 mile per hour gusts possible. It's moving at 71 miles per hour. Unbelievable. There will be an update for this warning. This particular warning for Mayville cancels at 4:30, but the storm line is already almost in Mayville. So we're going to have an update from the Weather Service on this line. How about getting an update from Hutch here? So let's take a look at the leading edge of this storm, where the bow is here, moving off to the east at about 70 miles per hour. We'll put it at 65. Looks like it's slowing down a little bit. Mayville, 351. It'll be there in 2 minutes. Thompson, 406. Ada, 420. So you got yourself basically 30 minutes until it makes its way to Ada. So this blue line right here, that's the 30-minute line. It'll be almost to Crookston and it'll be working its way into Ada and on its way to Gary and Fertile. Fertile, about 42 for you. Pardon me, I'm going to duck off here. Okay, so yeah, out in Ada, Fertile, and Monoman, all in the path of this storm in the next upcoming hour or so. So we'll keep you updated because there will be a new product coming from the Weather Service on that particular arm of the storm. Now, let's look at Fargo. You can almost see the storms are pushing into Castleton right now. Arthur, that's on your doorstep. Enderlin, we still have that bite taken out of the storm by you. Looks like we got a new wind report out here. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But here, there's that still that bite in the storm or out of the storm taken by the Enderlin area. And this is moving about 56 miles per hour, if I recall. Wind threat is observed. That's a 70-mile-per-hour wind threat. And now let's take a look at how long this will take to get into the FM area. Whoop, let's just erase that because we got a new scan. Sorry about that. Might as well use the latest data, right? Here we go. My coloring skills are taking a wreck. I'm just going to kill that too. Let's see. I'm just going to draw more of a straight line here. Trying to get too precise on the leading edge. Okay, there we go. All right. So putting this out at about 56 miles per hour. Arthur, the storm was over you now. Castleton 354. So it's basically pushing into Castleton. And by the way, that bulge there, some of the gustiest winds are going to be likely pushing in close to Castleton and points south. There's another bulge. Oop, we're getting some power glitches here as the storms make their way through. There's a notch taken out of the storm down here by the Leonard area as the storm has moved out of Enderlin. Storm will be making its way towards West Fargo by 4:10 and Fargo by 4:15. So it's on its way in about 15 minutes to the Fargo Moorhead area. Are you hearing rumbles of thunder? Uh, that's what's going on here in the Fargo area. Glendon and Barnesville and Hawley all will be in the path of this line of thunderstorms in the upcoming future. Likely new products coming from the Weather Service to update that very soon. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Uh, Go to the spin. Okay. So what you're looking at here, Amenia, Castleton, is wind moving toward the radar in Mayville and away from the radar here. So this does show that along this entire leading edge, it's not one big tornado. That's what it looks like, but that's not what's going on. But there is some inflow into the thunderstorms this way. That is the southerly winds that we've been dealing with today showing up here. This is the outflow from the storms. The rear flank downdraft is what meteorologists call it, and the wind burps that's coming out of these storms working its way through. That gust front is right now making its way through Castleton. Are you seeing it? Are you hearing it? Amenia, your areas as well. So there could be some isolated areas along this leading edge that are going to see a chance for tornado, usually just north of an apex. Here's an apex right here. See where there's a bulge in the storm right there? North of that, there is some counterclockwise shear and spin. That's pushing through Castleton now. So that's a dangerous line of storms, very gusty, strong winds. And now we can take a look at some of the measurements we're getting. We do got a measurement here of 63-mile-per-hour winds near the Hope area with these storms. I'm going to bow off of the camera. I'm going to leave the radar up here. And we got a wind gust measurement here, 63 miles per hour near Steel. That's the latest one. I'm going to pull Oaks, north of Oaks, 3 miles south of Marion, 57 miles per hour. I think we've caught most of the deals there. Now let me see if I can answer a couple of your questions. So off camera here, let me go ahead and take a peek. Thank you so very much, Darlene, and all of you who have always supported me so graciously with stars, gifts, and the like. I appreciate each and every one of you. When does it arrive in Grand Forks? You're asking here 1 minute ago, Joni. We did that just a moment ago, but I'll do it again for you because everybody doesn't log in at the same exact time. So here's the storms moving in towards Grand Forks. They're moving at 56 miles per hour, so we'll put this in here at about 56 miles per hour. There you go, Thompson 414, or shortly Grand Forks, East Grand Forks 421. I hope that helps answer your question on the Grand Forks area. So that's an answer for you. Elsewhere, I have not been looking. I don't have the typical number of monitors I'm used to using here in my remote location. Power went out and came back in. Thanks, Denise, for your letting me know. Light show in Castleton, winds just starting. Thank you very much. Apartments are flickering here with lights. Thank you, Dakota. Appreciate that. Just hit Castleton. Thank you, Tanya, for your report. Galesburg Hunter at the moment just arrived in Mayville. Yeah, Mayville. That was a real that the whole storm is moving at 70 miles per hour through your area, so keep that in mind. Heidi, Tower City, good to have you. Kathy, thank you so much for your support through stars. The thunder is crazy, Denise says. Thank you, Paula, for your stars. Just moved my son to Mayville for college. Brittany says, it's that time of year where we're getting our kids ready to go to school and we still have severe weather to worry about. And this has been one heck of a year. I'd use a different adjective there, but I'm not going to in this family broadcast here on Hutch's weather. I'm checking out my friends on my YouTube channel here to see what we got going on. It looks like we got some feedback from many of you, and I'm having trouble seeing the bottom of there they are. Lights are flickering in Thompson. Let's go ahead and take a look at Fargo is now in a severe thunderstorm warning, as you can see. We'll click on this and read this together. You can hear my phone going berserk. Considerable damage threat, 70-mile-per-hour winds have been observed with this storm, is what it says. The warning is in effect until 5 o'clock. The storms are moving at 59 miles per hour. It's a huge warning, folks. I'm not a huge fan of these. I'm not going to lie. Having a huge warning that big is very hard, but there's simply so many individual thunderstorm cells that are moving so quickly that we would have 4 dozen warnings to go through. That's why the Weather Service does it. So I'm not knocking them. Please don't think I am. It's just the nature of the beast when we get this. Let me show you what I mean. I'll show you all of the individual thunderstorm cells that the radar is tracking right now. These will start populating here shortly. And as they do, you'll get a feel for just how many of these there are. Let's see if they're all going to come up here or not. Let's go to the single site data. That'll help. Okay, so what you're going to start seeing is a few of these things start populating in a cellular fashion. You'll see individual thunderstorm cells, dozens and dozens of them with different directions and whatnot. So Larry, thanks for joining me. It says, listen to him, please. North Fargo lights flickering. Going to be any tornadic activity in Lisbon? Cameron, it's very, very difficult to say. I would say Lisbon, no. There is a little notched edge near Leonard and Point South there. We're seeing a lot of little pockets on it, but this part of the storm down here on the south is lagging behind out, and it leans back to the left towards Lemoore, Edgeley, and Ellendale.
The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
Thanks, Alice. All right, so that's Alice, everybody, and she just told me that we have a thunderstorm warning for Fargo. So we just went over that. Thank you very much. These storms leaning back the other way here, moving a little bit slower out here, and you can see that yes, they look jagged, but this is literally just some less organized cells that are falling off from the main event. And the main event is up here where we got the bow echo from Mayville through Fargo. You see this little pooch here? I'm going to get my pencil out. Got to get my crayon box out. This puppy here, that little nugget that's sticking out, that's not good. That is a very, very gusty signature there. And on the north side of those gusty signatures is where we can sometimes get those spin ups. So that's something that we'll be keeping in mind. LOL Lockhart says, is there embedded tornadoes in the line? Yeah, there's a possibility of it there, indeed. And that's what we've been fighting all night here, trying to keep up with. There's been a number of these little nuggets out there. There's not been tornado warnings issued for each and every one because there's just so many of them to track. But let me erase my Crayola here. There we go. Let's see if I got another crayon. Ah, geez, put it away, Hutch. Okay. I think, I think there we go. Oh, gee whiz. Great. Okay, my apologies, but I do have what looks to be uh, argumentative um, computer right now. There we go. I was able to delete that. My computer's been working hard too. From Mayville through Hillsborough through Grandin, this is one of those Boeing line segments again here. And this is something that I think deserves a little bit of attention. I'll pop my melon back up here. Uh, this is heading to Halstead. this backward C shape is a gust of wind blowing your way, strong winds. See these little jagged sawtooths? Those are the type of embedded tornadoes that people are asking about. That doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but if there was going to be any, that's what we'd be looking for. So this area, anywhere along here, when we start seeing this bowing surge, when we get these little sawtooth type signatures on here, when that's compared with and coupled with uh, the velocity couplets here, where we see greens next to reds right in here, right in here. There's a little one. So they're very small, they're very brief, but they're not there. So this is a dangerous cluster of storms. Fertile, Polk County, all of Polk County from Crookston to Fertile, Beltrami, Nilsville, all these areas are now under a new severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in these areas, please seek shelter. 80 mile per hour winds. This storm's moving at 58 miles per hour now, so we'll have to retime some of those for you. And we'll go ahead and do that. That warning is in effect for the next hour, so please seek shelter. And you can see the leading edge of the storm with the winds here south of Buxton. Speaking of which, right in Buxton, there's this little area here where we could be having some shear or spin taking place as well. So all of these areas are in the path of this line of thunderstorms now, all the way into western Minnesota, moving quickly towards Fargo Moorhead. Let's take a look at the details with regards to these power bumps that we're having here and see if there's any power outages to report. One other thing that Hutch tries to keep at his fingertips, but it's been a while since I've worried about power outages. So here we go. Oh, looky there. North Dakota has some power outages. So let's go ahead and peruse this information and see what we got. As we look at the state of North Dakota, Stutzman County is customers tracked about 12,500, and wow, look how many are out. That's like 75% of them, 8,900 customers without power in Stutzman County. If you're in Stutzman County, I hope you're watching. I got a tornado warning to get out to you. We do have numerous power outages here in the James River Valley, so keep that in mind. Also, up here in Cavalier County, we have 171 people without power, so power surges and bumps are going to be a possibility. Let's hope Hutch doesn't go without power here. Now let's get back to the tornado warning. Grand Forks County, south of Grand Forks, let's get to the radar for that. This is hutchesweather.com. If you allow my website to track your location, the warnings that are coming out will show up right here on hutchesweather.com, and you can watch my live stream as well. So you'll have all of your cake and eat it too. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar. Here we go. A tornado warning's been issued for Grand Forks County. Why? There's one of these little nuggets again, a couple of them. You got this Boeing line segment on the north side near Emerado. There's a pocket and there's another hot pocket down here and a bulge in the middle. Let's take a look at the velocity right there. And let's read the warning first from the Weather Service. It says, there is a tornado observed near Merrifield. Observed tornado. Whoever can see out there must be able to see with the lightning that's going on out there. There is a tornado observed on the ground there. So this is dangerous situation. Look how fast it just moved in 1 6-minute increment. Boom, it's all the way on its way to Grand Forks. So let's take a look. Moving east northeast at 54 miles per hour. Here is your Emerado area tornado warned storm. Moving east northeast at 54. I can't even draw 54 on this. Let's just keep going out. It's a very small tornado warning because these are usually brief type tornadoes. But this is an observed tornado, and it will be near Grand Forks by 417 and East Grand Forks at 418. Grand Forks is not in the tornado warning, but Grand Forks County is. So it's in rural areas southwest of Grand Forks, but it's moving fairly quickly. There's where the tornado is. Let me clear this off the screen. And let's look at the velocity. This is an observed tornado. Okay, so we see that the radar in Mayville is showing this little area right here, and that's the thing it's tracking. That's where the tornado is, and it's moving right towards Grand Forks right now. So we'll watch that very closely. If you're in the path of that particular storm, you should be seeking shelter on the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Try to put as many walls between you and the flying debris as possible. So get down low, lowest floor, put walls between you and the storm, and that should help. I need to take a drink of water, so I'm going to duck off camera here real quick. Okay, so tornado warning, Grand Forks County is in effect. Tornado warning, Grand Forks County. Let's go ahead and zoom out here again. Um, Moving into the FM area here very shortly is a line of thunderstorms. Mapleton, that's where the storm is. We do have some shear on the leading edge of that. There's greens next to reds right there near Mapleton, heading into the West Fargo area. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this storm looks like right now. Tornado warning, thunderstorm warnings, and more thunderstorm warnings. You can see this is a Fargo Grand Forks system. It does extend down into South Dakota and as far north as the Canadian border. I'm not ignoring you.
The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay, thank you, Alice. Alice is nice, keeps me informed. Let's go ahead and check out. The most recent wind reports we're getting here for measurements are upwards of gusts upwards of 74 miles per hour out there in that Valley City area. That's the same stuff that's moving into the Fargo area. Look at this little notch out of the storm right here near West Fargo right now. I'm going to the cameras out there, so let's go to the DOT cameras in North Dakota real quickly. I do want to take a moment and look at those. We are in the FM area now. The storm's moving in. Here is a look at what it looks like behind the storm. It's just a deluge out there. Look at that lightning lighting up the whole Castleton area there, enough so we could see the tree. And here's the leading edge where we're seeing that storm pushing into the FM area. I can't even tell what that is, but that's another lightning strike that's really causing some weirdness on the shot there, on the camera shot. Same thing goes here. Lightning flashes, and the camera's iris has a very hard time adjusting quickly. Here's what it looks like from the tri-level in Fargo, looking around in different directions. Things quiet now. There you are, looking out to the west, I believe. That's the darker sky. So right now all is quiet in the central part of the FM area, but it's not so quiet just outside of West Fargo. Horace, you're also going to see this first. So severe thunderstorm warning for the Fargo Moorhead area. We'll be keeping our eyes on things. I'm going to put the radar back up. I am going to have to step away, but I'm not going to leave you. Gusty winds, a tornado warning approaching Grand Forks. As we take you in on the radar here, let me go back to that. That they're moving so fast, I just don't want to leave that alone here. So here we go. We still have the evidence of the spinning on the leading edge of this storm here. This was a confirmed or observed tornado, and it is now making its way right here as the crow flies. I'll go ahead and measure that for you from Grand Forks or the Grand Forks area. Let's go from East Grand Forks. It's easier to measure. They're 10 miles from East Grand Forks, moving at 50 miles per hour. Do the math, that's 1/5. That's not very much time. You got about 15 minutes on the west side of Grand Forks, and that rotating part of the storm would be near you. An observed tornado. The Grand Forks, to be clear, you are not in the tornado warning in the town of Grand Forks at this time, but it's moving so fast. I'll bet you when we get the next scan, it'll already be at the end of the polygon warning, the small polygon. So keep that in mind. One thing to tell you is that some of us will wake up to daylight and have some possible damage and destruction in places that we didn't know were hit. It might look like a tornado. It very well could have been straight line winds. It might look like might have been some tornadoes out there that we did not get confirmed because it's just too dark to see them. Thanks for your support. This is what's going on. I do have to step away for 1 minute, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to turn the regular radar display on. Tornado warning, southern Grand Forks County, not Grand Forks yet. I'm right here. I do need to step away for just a second. We'll put this on the regular radar data. Gusty winds heading into Grand Forks. Tornado warning south of Grand Forks, Hillsboro, a very, very gusty wind, 80-mile-per-hour winds possible in and around the Hillsboro area. I will be back here momentarily and we will resume coverage of a very long line of windy thunderstorms moving through the eastern Dakotas now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Grand Forks is now in a tornado warning. The community of Grand Forks, you should all be getting in your tornado safe areas. Get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. This tornado warned storm is going to be in Grand Forks in moments. In fact, it's moving in on the western side of town now, moving east at 58 miles per hour. This was an observed tornado earlier. Now the warning says it is a radar indicated tornado. I can tell you there's a few different areas of concern on this. It's a pretty big tornado warning, and there's no way that the tornado is this huge. It's not one tornado, but it's a few areas where we could be seeing tornadoes. I will get my crayon out here and draw where those would be. Here's one area of concern right here, where it's on the north side of an apex of the Boeing line segment. Here's the other area right in this area here, south of Grand Forks proper. It's So if you're in Grand Forks, this tornadic potential tornadic storm making its way in right now, a tornado warning is in effect for the next 1/2 hour. It also includes northwestern Polk County and Warren. If you are in these areas, please seek shelter in that interior room right now. Very dangerous storm, as you can see here. One area of that little bowing line segment right there, and on the north side of that apex, that would be one area. There's another area to the north that will be skirting close to you folks in Oslo, moving east northeast at 83 miles per hour. Let me erase this. Ah, let me see. I got it over here. There we go. Thanks for bearing with me. It has indeed been a long day and a half. As we take a look at the velocity here with regards to the storm, the tornado warning is for Grand Forks right now. Again, if you are in Grand Forks, if you are in Manville, if you are in Alvarado, Warren, you need to be seeking shelter. East Grand Forks, same thing goes on the south side of town. We also have area of concern here is on the north side of Grand Forks. We have the right there.
The National Weather Service has issued.
Thank you, Alice. Okay, so we do have this area right here near the interstate on the west and north side of Grand Forks, not far from the airport, where we have one notch and we got another notch taken out right here. So a couple different areas where we could be getting some spin in the storm, and Manville. Manville, this really looks spinny here. Let's go ahead and get that velocity couple up there. Another tornado warning has been issued for Climax. If you're in Climax, Shelley, or Beltrami and Millsville, seek shelter in an interior room away from windows. You can see the notch up here by Climax and near Climax. This is a tornado warned storm. Let's see what it says. It says it is a radar indicated tornado. So this one not observed. Hard to observe them at night, by the way. 58-mile-per-hour motion to the east northeast. Beltrami, Fertile, Climax, Nilsville, Shelley, all in the path of the tornado warned storm there. So Grand Forks, tornado warning for you. Nilsville, Fertile, Beltrami, areas south of Crookston, also in a tornado warning. Here is the velocity couplets. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Again, you're not just looking for reds next to greens, but we're looking for that in specific areas. And here's what I see in Grand Forks. Now, there is a bright couplet just near Manville. So where we're seeing this area here in the Manville area, I'm going to pull my view up here so I can just point. It's easier to point than draw. This area right here, there is spin right over the interstate right now. I-29 on the bend goes out to the northwest of town. That is where the that rotating part of the storm is. Now we mentioned, or I mentioned earlier, that near Oslo there was one as well, and indeed, moving up toward the Oslo area. This one, that's a tight couplet right there. There's another area right here near Ardok that could be moving up and toward the area. So these usually don't last real long, but these spin-ups can definitely be strong and they can definitely be damaging. Now, in Grand Forks proper, you should be in your tornado safe area. You want to be on the lowest floor, interior room, stay away from windows. And here is an area of some shear on the north side of town. We got reds next to greens. It's not as strong as what we're seeing up north, but it's still there. And then here we go down to the south to the storm near Climax. Look at how bright this is right here. This air is moving away from the Mayville radar in Nilsville and Shelley. In Climax, it's moving right towards the Mayville radar. Here is your shear. Now notice how the wind gets slower toward the middle. That's a good sign. If we had really bright colors immediately next to each other, that would indicate that you have a very tight couplet or a tornado. But this is a broad area of rotation showing up on the radar right here, making its way right down. So the most likely track of this is from this arrowhead to this arrowhead and straight towards the area near Beltrami and points north of Beltrami, heading into the wee hours of our morning here, 4:30 on this Friday, as these windy thunderstorms make their way through. So two tornado warnings, Grand Forks included, parts of Polk County, including Fertile and Beltrami, as well as you folks in Nilsville and Climax. Let's see. Right there near Nilsville, there's another area where we got that jagged thing. Again, I've been saying this, but when we get this little bulge coming out on the north side of the bulge is a is a pretty good location for where we may see a tornado. Fargo, right now, looking out windows and I'm seeing the lightning out there. Horace, you've got some heavy wind. We do have this long, broad area of inflow into the storm here and flow moving away from the radar over here. This is not one huge tornado, but here's an apex of a bow. And if there was going to be some spin in that thing, it would be down there near Sabin. But we'll keep our eyes on that. It's not as distinct as what we're seeing up to the north. So that's what's going on right now. We do have some wind measurements for you. Mayville recorded a 75-mile-per-hour gust. Mayville, 75-mile-per-hour gust. That's what's heading in the general direction of you folks in Nilsville, Shelley, and Beltrami. So it's probably in Nilsville and Shelley now and heading towards Beltrami. Winds as high as 80 miles per hour and a tornado warning. So get to the basement, get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure and get down low. Protect your head. Here's another look at what's going on up here in that Alvarado area. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if I'm seeing any evidence of debris with this Manville area one. Oh, I don't want STP, I want this. I'm sorry. So Manville area, that's where we see the rotation. And now when we take a look at the relation coefficient, little bit of blue in there, but I'm not impressed by what I'm seeing there. Earlier in south and west of Grand Forks, there was an observed tornado on the ground with this, though, so it's a dangerous storm nonetheless. Tornado warning does continue, and we do have some spin showing up not far from Manville, working its way right here. Another one right over Grand Forks right now, starting to become a little bit more evident as well. So Grand Forks, Alvarado, Manville, you should all be in your tornado safe shelters. Fargo, Moorhead, still waiting for the heaviest of the rain to hit, but the gusty winds should be pushing in from the west. What are you noticing? I'm going to duck off. I will be here. I'm just going to look over and read your questions, but want to put up the regular radar display so you can be advised of warnings as they come in. Now that's weird colors. I don't know what caused that. I think me computer might be getting a little tired. Okay. Um, Please know I have not forgotten about any of you folks near the international border up here, up along the Highway 5 corridor up there. No storms have been severe for some time up there. There are strong storms. They are windy storms. They're not as windy, and the peak gusts measured up there were about 20 to 30 miles per hour, where we're getting all these measurements along Interstate 94 and now up along Highway 200, upwards of 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts taking place there. So that's what's going on. Now in the far south, same thing goes where we're seeing it sag back the other way. It's sagging back that way there. Not as strong of winds up near the international border, not quite as strong of winds down to the south of Lisbon, near places like Ellendale and Oaks. There's no warnings there right now. We do have a warning that does stretch all the way out towards the Detroit Lakes area, and guess what? We festers, it's going to be a bag of wind out there for you as these burping thunderstorms are heading in your general direction. Not every location is going to get the 70-mile-per-hour winds, but the 70 mile has been detected near your location. The 70-mile-per-hour winds are definitely going to be more of a risk for more of us. Now, notice this. The storm seems to be peeling off and moving in a more southerly direction towards Sabin and Christine. And here we got a bite taken out of the storm right over Fargo. So that's what I'm noticing now as I'm looking out the window. It's awful gray out there here in Moorhead, but let's see if there's any velocity there. And then I'll try to answer some questions. No, I'm not seeing anything that's significantly more telling than the last scan. So I'm going to zoom out so we get all of our communities involved by the line of thunderstorms. Tornado warning, Grand Forks. Seek shelter right now. Tornado warning for Polk County, including Beltrami, Fertile, your area, as well as Climax. These storms are racing at 55 to 65 miles per hour with 80-mile-per-hour gusts here in the apex of the bow. And for Fargo Moorhead, we are expecting the potential for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, according to the National Weather Service. And the apex of the bow and points north is where we're seeing the great risk of a couple of tornadoes spinning up in there. I'm going to take myself off of camera here, and I am going to look at your questions and see if I can answer a couple. Thank you for joining me on Hutch's Weather. I appreciate each and every one of you. Stephanie's asking if we heard the sirens. The wind is crazy in West Fargo. I'm in Moorhead right now, and I'm not hearing the wind. So, nor am I hearing sirens. Yep, sirens going off in Crookston, says Laura. As they should be. Crookston, you're between the tornado warnings right now, between the tornado warnings. So I'll zoom in for you just a little bit on the radar. See that? So Fisher and Crookston are not in the tornado warning, but I can tell you what, just north of Fisher, that's a fishy looking signature there. South of Crookston, you got the apex of the bow. That means the burp of wind is coming your way and it's heading there fast. Power just went out in South Fargo, extremely windy. Thank you for your report. I'm looking forward to seeing some wind measurements. Here comes the rain in Moorhead, just getting hit with wind and rain. I mean, sideways rain. Micah, thank you very much. I appreciate you for watching. Let's go ahead and keep looking. Grafton, how's Grafton looking? Grafton does have some windy thunderstorms. Okay, I need to sneak out real quick. Hold on, I gotta sneak and check something here. Okay, everybody. The tornado warning does continue for Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, the Warren area, and western and northern parts of the Polk County area. Severe thunderstorm warning for the rest of the area up there near Grand Forks. Crookston, you're in a thunderstorm warning. That backward C shape you see moving towards you through Fisher is a gusty wind thunderstorm pushing its way into Beltrami right now. Beltrami, you are in a tornado warning, and actually, you can kind of see just visualizing this gust of wind coming through Beltrami, and it's curling back and wrapping around this way. So there is shear on the north side of Beltrami right now. There is a Doppler indicated tornado would be right here as it's working its way east towards Fertile, heading along that Highway 102 cut across there towards Crookston. So keep that in mind. If you're in Beltrami, any of these areas, very gusty straight line winds to 80 miles per hour heading through your area right now. As we look down to the south near Ada and heading to Gary, again, 80-mile-per-hour winds possible through for isolated areas as it's moving out of Halstead and Ada and heading in towards Gary and Bijou right now in Monoman County. Ada, south of you here, look at this Felton area, Borup. We do have this little C shape right here. Another burst of wind coming this way with well, wind blowing back on this side. So this is another area of concern right here for a possibility for a spin up. Now let's take a look at what this says. This is radar indicated. Considerable damage. Hail threat is only 3/4 of an inch or lower, but 70-mile-per-hour winds are going to be likely for many, not all locations in the warned area. Twin Valley, Ulen, Felton, and look at this. Remember this acceleration of the storm here. Look at it accelerated right past Fargo on the south side, south of Moorhead. And now, boom, here's that apex. So there is a little notch taken out of the storm right there. That's incredible how fast that burped its way by the Fargo area. On the south side, Sabin, Comstock inundated with very heavy rain. Barnesville, this is going to be in your lunchbox here real quickly. as the storm makes its way through. I'm going to look at the velocity here because I like to keep up with that for you folks in the tornado warnings and for the rest of us as well. Okay, here we go. So yes, indeed, in and around the FM area, we do have some areas here. Well, this is a huge area of wind incoming into the storm, but it's this part right here when we got that potential spin going on right in this particular area. So a couple of areas of spin, not far from the Fargo area on the south side of the metro near Sabin. That's showing up on the radar. Very gusty winds pelting the area as we go through the evening hours. This storm here moving east at 59, we'll call it 60 miles per hour, 70-mile-per-hour observed winds. So that's what's going on right now. Back to the regular radar display. I'll time out a few of these storms because they are moving in the general direction of you folks in the DL area, as well as eastern parts of the Clay County area. So, Holly, you can expect the storms. Lake Park, they're heading towards you. Let's go ahead and time those out for you in Lakes Country. So, from Ada through Fargo, Moorhead, Dilworth, Glendon, moving off to the east at we'll go with 60 miles per hour. Here we go. Wapaton is in the path of this particular cluster of storms. Breckenridge and see if I'm doing. Yes. Wapaton, that's an error. I think it's because I should have drawn it back this way. So please nix Wapaton, Breckenridge off that. Barnesville, 436, Holly, 444, Pelican Rapids, 453, Monoman by 454, and Fergus Falls by 458. Frazee and Perham also in the mix. 454, a Chevy guy ought to know what that means, but that's the time. Easy to remember. Lightning aplenty making its way through. We were looking at the wow, let's look at this backward C shape. It really takes on that bow and arrow. That's why we call it a bow echo, but it's a huge bow echo. It's not just from one thunderstorm. This is a huge cluster of dozens of thunderstorms, tens of thunderstorms working their way through eastern North Dakota right now, punching into western Minnesota. Tornado warning in Beltrami. You see that? I got to scoot that north just a little bit. See this, how it curls up and comes back around? This wind is shooting out so fast and it's wrapping around on this side. We do have that little excessive area of potential spin going on right there. Hearing a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, and just a lot of rain as well. So here's the storm relative velocity. We definitely have some spin or shear in that same area that we're looking at. And now let's take a look at any the wind is pushing out. So you can see the leading edge of this gust front blowing through. It's almost all the way into Fertile now. If you're in Fertile, there is a little area of unsettled air working its way through, turbulent air to say the least, with gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour possible in this area. And this is target differences. So high differences is what we're looking for here. So I'm not seeing a debris signature per se in this area of the cutout here. That's a good sign. But definitely heed the warning, seek shelter, lowest floor of a sturdy building, and wait out the expiration of the warning, which is at 4:45. So it's over in 11 minutes for that, and it will take less than that time to get to the Fertile area the way it's looking to Hutch right now. So going back to the regular radar display, tornado warning for Fertile continues. That's for the next 11 minutes. Tornado warning checking in on Grand Forks, East Grand Forks. It's through Grand Forks, basically. Your risk of a tornado in Grand Forks is done. So the Weather Service says, whoop, that's it. You're done. You're able to come out of your safe space in Grand Forks right now, but there could still be 80-mile-per-hour winds in and around your area as that storm moves through. The leading edge of the storm here with the sawtooth leading edge, along those sawtooths, we could see some spin ups in different areas. Tornado warning continues for northwest Polk County, and that includes areas north of Fisher and north of Crookston. Anybody in the rural portion of northwest Polk County, beware. Thief River Falls, Red Lake Falls, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for your area. Let's go ahead and get the basics on that. Until 5:30 for the next hour, it says tornado possible, considerable damage threat, 70-mile-per-hour winds will be the main threat from those storms, but we can't rule out a tornado along the leading edge on the north side of the apex of the bow. So that's what we're watching for you. We'll keep you posted right now. That's what's going on. I'm going to duck off and take a swallow of water and make sure that we keep you apprised. I am not going to stop the stream. We'll keep the stream going and we'll look at the power outage map here together as well. Power outages in North Dakota. Power's blinking here where Hutch is. Counties most affected, Stutsman County with 8,900 people without power. Foster and Eddy counties with 3 to 500 people without power. 250 without power in Wells County. Barnes County, 200, oh, excuse me, about 400 people without power. Just the storms are just now pushing into Grand Forks as well as Clay County, but look at Cavalier County, a significant number of folks without power, a couple hundred there as well. So that's a look at the power outages. There are some going on right now as we continue to deal with thunderstorm warnings and even tornado warnings on this. Sorry, I had my mic withdrawn. Power outages is what I was showing there. Thank you. And tornado warnings and thunderstorm warnings continuing as we head into the 4 to 5 time frame. I'll be back here momentarily. I'm leaving the stream up and going. Hello, everybody. This is Hutch again. Just going to speak over the top of this as I'm circling. I do think that we have a risk for a tornado right here. Whoopsies, doggone, I'm moving the whole page. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go here. This area right here. Tornado. That's the tornado uh, exiting the Beltrami area north of, I believe it's Highway 1 and heading towards Highway 102. Moving east, it's moving at 55 miles per hour. It likely is not in this spot anymore. It's likely across or over the Highway 102 corridor. So if you're in the Fertile area, Beltrami area, and points north there, uh, Certainly, a dangerous situation continues to show up. There's another little nugget south of Fertile here showing evidence of some rotation right there on the south side of Fertile. These are moving east, 50 to 60 miles per hour. Sorry for my penmanship there. The storms are heading towards Winger and Erskine at 58 miles per hour. Here's some more ETAs for those Polk County storms. Foston 508, Oakley 507, about the same time. Sioux Pass Ranch. Wow, look at this. See all the smattering of stuff going on here? Very interesting. Could be raining out. Storm's heading in towards Monoman County here. See if I can pull up the information. Moving east at 60 miles per hour. Considerable threat, tornadoes possible. 70-mile-per-hour gusts. Moving almost due east. Some ETAs for you. I need to step away for 1 second. I will be back. We have a new tornado warning, a huge one. Um, Not a fan of this, but we've talked about this a couple of times. Uh, Along that leading edge from Fertile, Gary, and down towards Hewlin, there are a lot of little bumps or sawtooths that you see there. That is what we call the apex of the bow. Along this apex of the bow right here from Fertile all the way down through the Hewlin area here, we got a couple sawtooths on there. Anywhere along this area here, that's why it's such a huge tornado warning. Anywhere along there, we could get a brief spin up along the leading edge of this thunderstorm. These are not gust nados. This is what we would call a QCLS or QLCS tornadoes that are working their way off to the east. These storms are moving east at 45 miles per hour. They're over Gary now. If you're in Gary, Fertile, Hewlin, Waban, Monoman, Erskine, Foston, Nadawash, um, you should be seeking shelter in the inferior room and away from windows. So please seek shelter. A very gusty line of storms is going to be making its way through. We still could see gusts to 80 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour. You are at that apex of the bow, which would indicate some of the strongest straight line winds. Not every single location is going to get the strong straight line winds, but many will. And there is an isolated chance that a few areas may have an embedded tornado in them. You do not want to be in your camper if a tornado is coming your way, and they will be there very quickly. So moving east at 45 miles per hour, I will track these for you to show you some ETAs for this line of thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado. At 45 miles per hour, it's going to be in the Hitterdal area by 446, Monoman 5 o'clock, Winger, Waban, and Ogama, all in that same early 5 o'clock hour time frame. White Earth, Foston, Bagley, all in the path of the storm eventually. Bagley, way out here, by the way. So again, dangerous line of storms. Another tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service. Ducking off again. We'll keep you posted. Seek shelter immediately. Interior room. You may have seen the Northern Valley is now in a severe thunderstorm warning, including Kittson County. So if you happen to be out at the lake, time to pay attention for some windy thunderstorms. Let's get the basics on this particular warning in the far Northern Valley. northern Red River Valley, Hallock, Kennedy, Carlstadt, Drayton, all these areas under a severe thunderstorm warning in the yellow box here until 5:45. The wind threat has been observed, so the reason why the warning was issued is there was a 60-mile-per-hour gust. Those gusts have been pretty refined, or the strongest gusts have been confined to the Southern Valley. But this is an observed wind threat. 60-mile-per-hour winds is going to be the main threat. Some small hail, penny size maybe, and smaller. And it does look like it's moving east northeast at 54 miles per hour. Looking at these storms again, east northeast moving. Stephen, Drayton, storms over you. St. Thomas, Cavalier, you've been in the storminess for a little while. East northeast at 54 miles per hour. It's a jagged line of storms, but we'll do the best we could. And east northeast, 54. If you happen to be at Lake Bronson, 5:15 is when the storms will be making their way towards you. Now, if you are at the lake and you're in a camper, get out of a camper if you can. Wind gusts to 60 miles per hour can break tree branches. You don't want that falling on your camper. So if you have sturdy structure, a sturdy structure to seek shelter in, that's the best. So please do so. Um, do not try to sit by the windows and watch the storm, particularly on the west or southwest side. The winds are going to come at you from the west southwest and be blowing towards you, and gusts are on their way. This is heading towards Hallock by 5:07, Lancaster by 5:16, and Greenbush by around 5:28, otherwise known as Greenbush. It's a new thunderstorm warning. Tornado warning does continue for areas of Mahnomen. Mahnomen, you are right in the tornado warning right now, and the storms are rapidly approaching. Bijou, Winger, all in the tornado warning. Fertile, you're in the tornado warning. The rotating part of the thunderstorm here will be moving through and out of your area. Same thing for Gary and Twin Valley. Soon there'll probably be an update. I am seeing that moving into Mahnomen, there's a little bit of a knot that's taken place there. That would be one area of spin, but not also towards Waban, another area of spin. White Earth, folks, you are in the tornado warning as well. As Callaway, if you were at Sioux Pass Ranch early, you got a windy burp of thunderstorm winds coming towards you as we go through this very early Friday morning. Very early Friday morning. You may have heard that this activity somewhat will impact our risk of severe weather tonight, but we still have a risk of severe weather tonight. The Storm Prediction Center has and should have updated that. We'll go over that. If you have a question about it, I'm going to look for your questions as well here on Hutch's Weather. The Fargo area had the measured, non-measured wind gusts here. It looks like some tree damage, 4 to 5 inch diameter trees down. A 10-foot tall tree has been reported down. That looks like it took place in West Fargo. West Fargo. Okay, as we look out towards Barnesville Lake Park, those storms are making their way off to the east right now. As the models suggested earlier last night, there is an expectation that by the time they get through the Bemidji area, they should be losing their punch just a little bit. But that's not happening quite yet. On the far southern extremes here, we're starting to see a decrease in intensity. No warnings down in the Ellendale, Oaks, Gwinner area or Hankinson area. Rothsay, strong storms moving into you and the Hawley area right now, heading towards DL. There's the leading edge of the storm. This warning for western Becker County expires in 6 minutes, and I'm certain that there'll be a extension of that in some direction or another. Sounds like we got more information coming soon, so we'll await that. And now we will go ahead and look for your questions. So I'm going to turn Mike off and take a, well, no, why would I do that? Let's go ahead. Erskine, yes, Erskine, you're going to have a chance for some stout thunderstorm activity. Let's get you in and show you there's a tornado warning not far from you. So as we take a look at southern Polk County, you are in the tornado warning in Erskine, and McIntosh and Boston. So that's the deal. There's a tornado warned line of storms here. This isn't one huge, big, broad tornado, but there are little areas of rotation and spin within this cluster. One between Fertile and Winger right here, where my little thing is circling around, and one down here near Monoman, and one down here near Waupun. There are all these little notches. So there could be numerous areas with brief little spin ups out there. Same thing for Mentor as we take a look, but you're on the other side. So hopefully things will be getting a little more quiet for your area sometime in the very near future. That you are not in the tornado warning in Mentor, but Erskine is. So there you have it. There is a windy thunderstorm line. 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts are going to be possible in and around Mentor. So that's what's going on there. Crookston, you are wrapping up with the main line of storms. A warning continues for Climax, Crookston, Halstead, Thompson, because behind this system we do have some gusty winds continuing. Grand Forks, Oslo, still in the warning, even though the heaviest of the rain is moving out to your east. Rachel, thank you for your stars. Is Gary almost done? Um, let's see. Gary's right in the middle of it. So it's going to be windy and rainy for just a little bit. I hope everybody's doing good. Hallock, just wind. Hallock is in a warning for wind, and the wind gusts are going to be measured at 60 miles per hour. There's a recorded gust out there, not in Hallock, and not everybody's going to see 60-mile-per-hour. Gusty wind is going to be the main threat. There could be some small hail, as you see here on this blue icon, less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Windy and rainy. And Gary Madison, thank you. In a tent, but oh, but the in-laws have the camper. Well, aren't they lucky? Well, you know what? The tent doesn't offer much protection from severe weather, but neither does a camper in 70 or 80-mile-per-hour winds, to be perfectly honest. You just don't want trees falling on you all. So please, if you have time, get to sturdy structure. I think that that's just a smart thing to do. Is Fargo out of a tornado warning? We are not in a tornado warning in Fargo. You can see here we have a thunderstorm warning that is set to expire very soon. It's set to expire at 5 a.m. as you see here on the blue. So Fargo, in 2 minutes, this warning is going to be adjusted and out of our area. Okay. So I do think that Fargo's risk of severe now for the rest of the night, hopefully, famous last words, will be a little quieter. Rachel, thank you very much for your stars. Um, yeah, there's been a tornado in Mentor before, so I always worried, Kayla. Uh, June 17th of 2010. I won't forget it. I won't forget it. Was working that day, and sadly a person lost their life in Mentor during that tornado. Power's back in East Grand Forks. Glad to hear. Thank you for your update, Leslie. Well, heading to the bathrooms, Jessica. That's a smart thing to do if you're camping. Power's back in East Grand Forks. Hey, thanks everybody for all your input here. I'm just kind of going through and seeing, but I think and all those were all just in the last minute. So the number of people commenting here and whatnot is very high. I'll just try to get caught up with the most recent ones. How was the weekend supposed to look in Grand Forks? You know what? A lot gooder than right now, Brianna. I do think we're looking good for the weekend and not as hot either. I'm going to sneak this back down to the tornado warning and show you that the tornado warned storm here is heading towards Winger. This little notch that you see here, that has Hutch concern. That could be an area of spin there. Monoman, you got a notch there. That could be an area of concern for the tornado warning. And I see a little notch here by Waupun. Boy, it's just like every town there's a notch by. So that doesn't mean a tornado is on the ground in every one of those communities, but those are the ones or the areas that Hutch is most concerned with. Nothing here yet east of Monoman. That's right. It was awful quiet here in Moorhead until it wasn't. And that's kind of how this system's working. Let me sneak over to my friends over on the good old YouTube stream. Thanks for watching on YouTube, everyone, and I appreciate all of the subscriptions to my YouTube channel here. Literally was walking out the door to work in Grand Forks and then the storm hit. That sounds like my luck there, Stone. Appreciate you watching. Um, the derecho you had a couple years ago was probably worse. Lasted a couple of hours. Wild stuff. Yeah, definitely. So, um, this one may the definition of derecho is terrible winds that that extend for hundreds of miles. So this storm really started its windy nonsense as it was out in the west, even in Montana. So this may qualify for a derecho, but there has to be a lot of damage reported too, and we won't know that until the morning hours. So thanks again, everybody, on the channel here on my YouTube channel. I appreciate all of you. Kay, Mr. Mike, WTF Mike, thank you very much. Oh, turn them annoying ads off. I am sorry about that. Let me see if I can do that now. I'm very sorry about that. Let's go here. Done. You know what? I was in such a hurry to get on with the tornado warning that got left on. That is my fault. It's late and I wasn't thinking. Yeah, I don't need you watching ads during severe weather coverage. All right, here we go. New warning. Park Rapids, you're included. Cub Scout camp, that's right. Camp Wilderness area. Detroit Lakes, Sioux Pass Ranch, and this warning is for until 6 o'clock. The wind threat has been observed for 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's the main threat. Small hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Oh, I forgot to get the motion of the storm moving east at 51 miles per hour. So let's call that 50. So we'll draw this through here and draw 50 burger on there and show you where this puppy's heading. And it will have some bark to it. Wobbin 502. Wobbin, by the way, not to confuse you, you got a thunderstorm warning there and you got a tornado warning there. But the line of storms, including the chance for a tornado, is coming now. Callaway 508, White Earth 509, Detroit Lakes 515, Burgess, Star Lake, and all of those fun, fancy areas. I'm going to tell you about 523. The storms might be making their way towards you. Park Rapids 550, 550 as the clock rolls. So that's a look at that. New warning out here for Bemidji. It says tornado possible, considerable damage threat, and 70-mile-per-hour gusts. And this is radar indicated 70-mile-per-hour gusts. 64-mile-per-hour movement of the storm. So let's clock that out for all of you fine folks in Oakley, Foston, out towards Bemidji. That's moving to Erskine now. McIntosh soon, 5 minutes. Oakley, 511. Foston, 513. Clear Brook, 528. Red Lake, 545. And Bemidji, 548 is what we have going on there. Let's see. It looks like Garb and Blue Wolf. How does Fertile look? Yeah, tornado warning is still in effect for the Fertile area, I do believe. No, excuse me. Fertile. Yeah, it is. The tornado warning is still in effect for the Fertile area. The threat for that is going to be waning fairly soon. The tornado warning is in effect until 5:15, so for 11 more minutes. So hang tight. Infertile, you're still in the tornado warning. However, the area with the rotation is right near Winger now, and Bajou, Mahnomen, Waban. White Earth may be a very gusty one moving into White Earth right now. So that's what we got going on there. How about Sioux Pass Ranch? Well, let's get down there. Get on down on the south side of town, and this is what we got going on for you. Here we go. The Sioux Pass Ranch right here. The storm is, as the crow flies, Shazam. Oh boy, I'm gonna have problems measuring there. Let's go this. It's about 12 miles from you, and it's moving quick, 50 miles per hour. So, yeah, about 10 minutes at the very most, and it's gonna get gusty. But with all the rain, she won't get dusty. So keep that in mind. Very heavy winds with this storm making its way into the campsites out there if you happen to be out there already. So that's what's going on. I'm going to dial this in and let's take a look at let's take a look at the Kennedy area, Kitson County area, Hallock, Lake Brunson. Storms moving into Carlstead fast. Newfolden, you got the storms moving in fast. I know you needed rain, but look at the wind reports here. 56-mile-per-hour wind, Warren, actually in the city of March. Oslo area, we've got a measurement of 75-mile-per-hour winds. And here we got a 56-mile-per-hour wind. So very isolated areas getting hit by some pretty nasty winds working their way through. It's going back to the channel over here. Celeste asking how the wind is looking for Thief River Falls. You are in a warning in Thief River. The storm is moving in your general direction right now. Upwind from you in Warren, they had the 56, and Oslo had a 75-mile-per-hour wind. So those might be heading into the Newfolden area and your area. In Thief River Falls, you'll notice that the warning says tornado possible. Okay. This isn't to scare anybody, but do you see the big notch between St. Hilaire and Thief River Falls? Those notches are caused by outflows from the storm to the south, and that causes a little bit of a potential for spin up on the north side of where that notch is. So basically, north of St. Hilaire and not far from Thief River Falls, we have the potential for some spin. Okay, so the winds gusting to near 70 miles per hour will be possible in isolated places, not everywhere. And we also have the risk for an isolated tornado. Seek shelter, stay in your shelter. The storm is just arriving. That's the Thief River Falls update. Getting thunder now east of Fertile. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. Sign off in Warren. Yay. It's nice to sign off, isn't it? Thank you, Jacinda. I hope you have yourself a wonderful evening. And it looks like, yeah, the it's still windy or you got some wind there. Holy smokes, 56 mile per hour. Hopefully everything's good at the old drive-in theater. Um, let's see. Yulin. Yeah. What about Yulin? We got Yulin. The storms have moved through the Highway 9 corridor here. So we got from Fertile south to Yulin. You're on the backside of the storm. You got the tornado warning. But the real risk for tornadoes is more toward the front side of this storm. Um, so keep in mind that that's heading in the general direction of you folks in Nadawash, White Earth. White Earth looks very windy. Waban and points east could be seeing some spin there, and Winger and points east towards Foston could be getting some spin going on there. As I take a quick look for you folks in the tornado warning for clear signs of rotation. Uh, there is some rotation not far from Bajou and Winger right here. It's not real super strong, but these things happen quickly. These are not long-lived type tornadoes. Waban, I've been saying there's a notch there. Yep, we got spin east of you now. Does not mean a tornado's on the ground. Remember, radar is looking at what's up in the clouds. Look at all these wind reports from Grand Forks on. So Emerado, 74 mile per hour, 74 mile per hour in Grand Forks as well. We've got the 59 in Grand Forks, 6 miles northwest of town, and east of town here in Polk County and Mallory. We got the 56 mile per hour gust and another 56 mile per hour gust north of Crookston there by the airport, I believe. Okay, so that is a look at what's going on. I'm going to rest the voice here for a second. Thank you very much for your questions. Wasn't much going on in Red Lake Falls. And if we go back to the regular radar data, we can show you that that's good. You guys got that neat valley there, right? So that there is some stormy, windy weather working its way through Plummer, heading into Oakley right now. Gusts of winds still have the potential in isolated places to be 70 or even close to 80 mile per hour. So keep that in mind. It says tornado possible. I'm not seeing anything at quite as jagged as what we're seeing down there south near the tornado warned storms. I'm going to get my water and leave the radar on. I will leave the stream live. Thanks for joining me right here on Hutch's Weather. You can get the latest on hutchesweather.com, by the way. hutchesweather.com. Real quick before I go grab more water, hutchesweather.com. Thank you for your uploads. As the sun rises, can I ask you to do me a favor? If you have damage, upload the photos of your damage to hutchesweather.com. And I do have a video to share with you right now. So I want to thank you for your uploads already. And now let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we have. When you go to hutchesweather.com, you can go to the viewer picks there, or you can scroll down just a little bit. You'll see the viewer section right here. View the gallery or upload your own photos and check the video out. Let's do it together. Thanks so much, Allison, for sharing. Nasty wind blowing into town, sirens going off, front yard camera. Here we go. Holy buckets, look at the trees. Yeah. Oh, I see leaves and stuff falling off the trees. This is near the National Weather Service office, if you know where that is in Grand Forks. It's right off the interstate on the west side of town. And by the way, awesome job tonight, National Weather Service Forecast Office, Grand Forks, North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota, Glasgow, Montana. Wind damage from Fort Peck, Miles City, Bismarck, and now into our neck of the woods, I'm sure. So thanks, Allison. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing your videos and photos uploaded um, as well. All right, I'm going to duck off. We'll get that radar back up right now. I got to get my water or I won't make it. Get ready, Detroit Lakes. Line of thunderstorms making their way into town now. Expect wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour. And we've observed 60-mile-per-hour winds with this one. Tornado possible. I'll show you, take a look together. Maybe. That looks like a bad. We'll have to wait for the next scan to come in. I'll go up one. It's pretty. As we get farther away from the radar, the data tends to get a little bit less good. Okay, I'm just going to get back to the regular radar data. Fergus Falls, Alexandria, Ortonville. Let's go to the Aberdeen radar down here so we can better see what's going on down in the south. Essentially, Watertown, these areas, we do have some thunderstorms out there. They're very sparse, a smattering of them, if you will. Some of them are strong, but they're below severe criteria. These blue boxes you see, by the way, statements on these storms from the National Weather Service. The statement for Fergus Falls says we could see some 50 isolated gusts to 50 miles per hour. The storms are moving east at 56 miles per hour. So they'll be moving from Fergus Falls towards areas like Ottertail Lake and eventually Battle Lake, heading in on the to the Perham area, New York Mills, Denton, Fergus. As we get up towards Detroit Lakes here, though, that's where we do have severe storms. They don't look as bad there, but we got to switch the radar back, mind you. There we go. Good news, the tornado warning has expired. Tornado possible is is a statement that's been used on most of these huge tornado, or excuse me, huge thunderstorm warnings you see from the international border through Park Rapids, Minnesota. I'll leave the stream running. I'm going to check out your questions here real quick. Got the wind gusts up. And to answer your question, I believe it was Shanna. Yes, the tornado warning did expire, Shanna. That's good news. Uh, men- Mentioned that just a second ago. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I think my mic is working. It shows that it's modulating over on this end. I'm looking at wind gusts right now. Thief River, 48-mile-per-hour gusts showing up out there, 38 mile per hour in Fergus Falls. Look at the Sisseton area here, the hills outside there. That's 49-mile-per-hour gusts out there with that storm that's making its way through there. That's not far from severe criteria, but it is not. So we do have some pretty gusty winds still out there. Now we're going to take a look at that radar one more time here and show you. We continue with a smattering of severe thunderstorms. Looks like it's now almost a circle, right? Almost a concentric circle from the Hallock and Kennedy area, Pembina, Emerson area. Little hail there near that point of entry. It looks like Lake Brunson, narrow thunderstorm band working its way through your neck of the woods. Carlstead pushing on towards Greenbush right now. Um, it does look a little thinner. Notice the pencil thinness to the dark red scene right here. Okay, so a little bit thinner is the area of the sharp thunderstorm activity, and then behind it, some very heavy rain. I'm seeing some posts here also saying that the sirens in Ada are going off, and I'll look and see if I can find out any information as to why on that. Other than the fact that there may be some winds on the backside of the storm, I'll see what I can find out. Let's see. Also looking at something else. Okay. All right. High winds and lightning here now, says Derek. Thank you very much. Sirens going off in Ada. So after the main line moves through, I guess we're getting some what's called wake low gusts. Certainly a possibility with these. That means that as this main red line is making its way into Thief River Falls, the gusts we saw at 48 miles per hour, they may be persistent in Warren now and Ada, Halstead, Detroit Lakes. You got that line of thunderstorms pushing through and right over Sioux Pass Ranch right now. So heavy rain making its way in your general direction, some gusty wind potential. We'll see what they're measuring out there at the old Aeropuerto. Let me go ahead and pop the data up here. We got 75 degrees at Detroit Lakes, Minnesota right now. And look at the other measurements. You see the wind's 24 miles per hour from the west. It's 290 degrees, not temperature. That's the degree direction of the wind. The gust is 37 miles per hour. So that's what we have going on there. And look at the rain-cooled temperatures. Fargo 64, but on the warm side, we're still in the sticky 70s. It won't be long. Sioux Pass Ranch, you too will see a chance for some cooler temperatures. All right, let's take a look at some other data here, and then we'll continue to wrap this up. Wind and rain starting to pick up a little at Little Toad Lake. Thanks, Nasty F5. Nitro Border says 10-4 big dog. Hutch is number one. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the questions. Let's see if we have any more over here on the other channel. Does Roy Lake need to be in the basement yet for tornado warnings? No. Now let's get back to the radar here before I say no. Okay, the thunderstorm warning is extended to cover almost all of Roseau County minus Warroad, parts of Lake of the Woods County, northwest parts of Beltrami County, including the Red Lakes area. This warning says that the storms are moving at 59 miles per hour. You can expect gusts of wind to 60 miles per hour from these storms. That's a huge line. I'm going to take it in chunks. We'll go from Hallock into Roseau County here. Those storms moving off to the east-northeast. So let's go and grab my measurement tool here. Like this. Oh dear. That was a big bad. Uh, let's go this way. Okay. So let's go with that 50-mile-per-hour motion of the storm. Strathcona about 533, Badger 551, Roseau 604. Oof, it's been a long day. Wait a minute, that was yesterday. Let's not make today as long as yesterday. Does that make any sense to anybody out there? Okay. Now, if you're anywhere from Thief River Falls and on Grigla, 539 storms heading towards you, Marshall County, Minnesota, Ponema, as well as the Roosevelt area, 6:26 a.m. So storms will be moving into those areas at those times. Now, as we take a look down south here, the tornado warning that you were asking about is gone. Roy Lake, you do not need to be worried about the tornado warning, but I can tell you this. In Roy Lake, in the southern side of Clearwater County, down here, the beautiful country. I mean, really beautiful country. The warning here says, I don't know why it's not pulling up here. There it comes. Uh, well, the tornado possible tag has been removed. That's good news. 60-mile-per-hour gusts is the main threat, moving east at 64 miles per hour. What? Okay, so here you go. Let's time these out. Now, this line of storms chunking in here like this, going this way, 64. That's pretty good and quick. Clearbrook, 540. Bagley, same time. Red Lake looks like 556, and Bemidji 559, and Red Bee and Cass Lake close to 6 to 610. Black Duck on to 619, and Killer at 620. Looks like that's when the storms will be in your area. So again, to answer that question with regards to your area, you don't have to be in the basement for the tornado warnings right now because there are no tornado warnings, but there is a tornado possible tag on this line of storms south of Monoman through Ulen, Detroit Lakes. That does include you folks out there at Sioux Pass Ranch. Moving east at 51 miles per hour is this line of storms. Um, Strong winds, 70 miles per hour. Go this way. So Vergus, about now. Frazee, 540. Wolf Lake, 553. Monaga and Nevis, about 610. Laporte and Akeley, about 610 to 615. And on towards Cass Lake at 619 for that stretch of storminess. I do notice a decrease in the sharpness on the radar if you notice that. And I got to say that in all likelihood, that's because these storms are also getting a little bit farther away from the radar. But that said, um, their intensity has waned. The wind threat has not. We're still seeing some significant wind reports from these storms. So that carries us through the lines of severe storms. I'm going to leave this up here for the time being. And for a little bit longer, we'll take a look and see what's going on, see if I can answer some questions. Holly, thank you. Huntersville, Minnesota, is dropping in with the question here. And I got to tell you what, it's a beautiful day because we're going to get a break and we're going to get some sleep. Hutch is going to get some sleep. Uh, there we go. So I have to admit, I didn't know exactly where Huntersville was. But I know my Wadena County, so that's north of Nimrod, way up there. So yeah, if you look up there in Wadena County, we'll zoom in on the map for you to answer your question. You're looking at the severe thunderstorm warning in your area or close to it. Oh, how are you? What's relation to? Yeah, yeah, you're not in the warning there. Uh, but but the line of storms is going to be moving your way. The thing is, once you get into uh, Wadena County is handled by the National Weather Service office here in Grand Forks, but if you get into areas east of there, you're looking at either Duluth or the Twin Cities. For instance, Todd County is warnings are issued out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So um, these storms are moving fast enough. It will not take too long for them to be in your area. Gusty wind will be your main threat out in your area tonight. The way it looks, they could be upwards of 60 miles per hour. Lake of the Woods area, question mark. They're heading your way. This warning expires here at 6:30, and at or about that time, they will be on your doorstep. And they could still be windy. Will they still be severe? We shall see. We shall see. Um, Good morning, Jared. Checking in. I woke up by some thunder. Yeah, I know the feeling. Heidi Lynn, good to see you. I hope you're doing fantastic. We don't need any wind with all the projectiles we have ready to fly. Okay, awesome. Uh, how about there's some good questions coming up here. Rain's letting up in Audubon. Okay, I think we got it. Does Crookston still need to be in shelf like a basement? Crookston. I'll tell you what. If you're in the Crookston area, there's some gusty winds coming, but the tornado threat is gone. Crookston, you are no longer in a thunderstorm warning. That's just off to the east of you. There are some gusty winds on the backside of the storm, but I think you are all but done. There are a couple storms festering up. One model had this pretty well. Look at what's going on south of Bismarck in Grant County. A couple thunderstorms starting to form out there. We're seeing that all the way from Mayville. So that's a pretty stout looking little line of storms there as I switch over to the Bismarck radar. That one has some hail. Harson. In fact, that could be a pretty sizable hail. Mott, Elgin, New Leipzig, those areas down there. That's what we got going on. A little bit of hail. We don't like that for the crops out there. Well, hopefully it's very isolated. Okay, and now we'll get back to the radar here. Ooh, listen to that lightning getting getting letting itself be known. Okay, I'll keep you posted. I'm going to look for questions here. Starting near Elbow Lake Village, east of Wobbin. All right, Karen, thank you very much. High winds and lightning there now. Okay, good. All right. Calming down a bit in Fertile. That's good to know. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. Can hear you now. Yeah, I was, that's a problem with turning my mic off. Sometimes I don't turn it back on. I try to remember stuff, but at, after this many hours being up, sometimes I forget. Okay, so this is what we got, this bowing line segment here where we see the apex of the bow. That's pretty, called a bow echo because it's like a bow and arrow, right? Okay, there you go. There's your bow. Winds are blowing this way. Bemidji, you can expect winds from the west. Park Rapids, winds from the west. Gusts upwards of 60, maybe 70 miles per hour in a couple of the storms. Notice that this is where the cluster of storm reports has been. Not seeing quite as many severe wind reports out to the east. So that's also a good sign. There's still some humid air out there and there's still some energy in the atmosphere to work with for these storms. Your watch ends in a little over an hour. So that's what's going on. I'm going to duck off of here for a second. I'm going to have a drink of water, agua, and I will keep my eyes on things and look around to see what's going on. Thank you very much for your trust, and we'll keep you covered here for a little bit longer as the storms approach Bemidji in particular. We'll keep you going and also want to check out what's going on in Otter Tail and Becker County. So we'll be back in a second. All right, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson back again. Here's a look at some of the rainfall that has fallen in rain gauges across the area. Bagley, or excuse me, Rugby. Over 2 inches have fallen there as we look up toward the Langdon area. Pretty healthy amounts there too. Over 2 inches in the Benson County area as we look at Maddock. Over 2 inches for those areas. Now along the I-94 corridor here since yesterday. Well, not as much in Jamestown, although there was looking like there were some pretty healthy storms that made their way through the James River Valley. Same thing for Valley City. I think Fargo got well more than the hundreds that have been reported here. Let me go to the today values, see if there's some sort of a problem with that. Yeah, I think that this is a little bit more representative of what we saw, although there was more. So this will be today so far since midnight, right? So this is since midnight. It's not like a 24-hour clock or whatever, because there were storms that worked their way all the way from Miles City. Williston and Minot got hit pretty good as well. So that's your precipitation for today. I know somebody was asking about that. So Fargo, it looks like 6,400 hundredths reported in the north side of town. This is from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. A few instruments in Minnesota, including Polk County, near Crookston and not far from, say, Fertile area. They're about 4 to 5 tenths of an inch of rain for those areas. Hey everybody, meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Boeing line segment continues its way towards Park Rapids and towards Bemidji and Roseau County, seeing the storms as well. Thanks a lot for all of you who have been up here taking part in Hutch's weather. I think I'm going to wrap things up here as we go into the Bemidji area. It does look like we'll still have some windy thunderstorm potential. I do note this. We have plenty of instruments out in this area, from the DOT instrument sites to the National Weather Service ASOS sites out here. We're not seeing quite as high of gusts with this line of storms. There's still the possibility, and there's still a few high cloud tops if you saw me perusing those, that are in and around the lakes country area from Detroit Lakes and points off to the east, some 50,000-foot cloud tops. Those are tall enough that when they collapse could still produce some gusty straight line winds. But that said, we had some wind damage tonight, and I want to thank those of you who have uploaded photos to hutchesweather.com. And you look at hutchesweather.com, you can get the latest anytime, anywhere, your forecast right here, as well as my latest videos. Now let's take a look at what's going on with your photo uploads, because there was some damage to some property out there. It looks like in the Kensal area, so in Stutzman County. Look at that. Roof damage there to the cafe in Kensal. That was from Friday night storms. Indeed, that's some terrible damage you can see right through. So, Kendall, I will pass this along, Bubba. Thank you for your photo upload to the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm sure they'd be happy to get all the reports that we can. What it is important that you pass along your reports and they get passed along the Weather Service so we can confirm or deny whether a warning was actually confirmed. Did we get severe weather or not? It's really helpful. And quite frankly, when you're sitting in a room like I am right now, looking at a radar like we've been talking about all night, doesn't show you what's hitting the ground. This does. So thank you so much. All right, I'm going to take one last peruse through the radar. I'm going to give you one more last idea of when storms will be arriving in your area. It's not that I don't care about these counties off to the east, I indeed do. The intensity is winding down. The warnings are continuing for now. Some of the stronger cells are here from Bemidji and Point South. Fergus Falls, these are a little bit more unorganized there. And we do have some storms starting to fester up on a line from Grand Forks back down towards Bismarck as well. So, real quickly, let's take another look at these. I may leave the stream up for just a time, just to see what the next cluster of warnings does. Moving at about 60 miles per hour, Roseau 605 coming up shortly. War Road 626, Ponema out there at 617. Williams 636, and Kelly area out there at about 638. Mizpah 649. So that's a look at those storms that are on the north side there. Now let's go down towards the Red Lakes area here. We can see on the western shore of the lower Red Lake there, we got some storms moving on right now. These are going to be an apex of a bow, so they're probably pretty windy out there as well. Anyone out there doing recreational activities will want to make sure that you're taking appropriate precautions, moving off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. Let me move these over just a bit. Let me move the whole radar over just a bit. So, uh, Red Lake shortly, Ponema up there about 611, Black Duck 623, and Mizpah out there at 652. So that's a look at those areas. Now we'll go down just a little bit and take a look at the Bemidji area here as we see the storms just now pushing in. So I'm gonna have to go real quick here, and I'll be back in just one. All right, resuming coverage from north to south. We are seeing that we do have a little blue box here. That blue box is a weather statement, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts there at Red Lake and points south towards the Bemidji area. Um, as those storms appear to be waning in intensity just a little bit. Here's what's moving out of the Becker County area and pushing into the Wadena County area. These were moving at a faster clip. Park Rapids 602, so shortly. Nevis 611, Akeley 615, on towards Walker by 618. And how about Cross Lake at 650? So storms continue to move off to the east in Otter Tail County, heading right in on the big lake right now. Dent, Richville, Otter Tail Lake, Henning, and Battle Lake are seeing storms here shortly as well. The severity of these storms not as strong. Grant County seeing some heavy rain from Campbell all the way down into the Elbow Lake area and Herman. So That's what we have going on right now with active watches and warnings. Speaking of watches, let's go ahead and show you that we do have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect. A few counties have been lopped off, but Lake of the Woods County, Beltrami County, and all the way down to the south for Hubbard and Wadena counties. That's the extent of the watch. That's in effect until 7 a.m. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, and boy golly, I really appreciate each and every one of you watching. If storms approach your area, gusty wind will be the main threat. The hail threat, while it's not zero, the risk of 1 inch hail and larger seems to be waning here heading into the early morning hours. We kind of monitor these storms out to the west. There is a chance that a couple of those could be festering up as well. This afternoon, you may have seen me messing around a little bit here as I was looking ahead at our risk for severe weather today, and it's a slight risk as opposed to the enhanced risk that we have today. So yesterday, I should say. So for your Friday, storms are expected to start on the left side of this and work their way east. The best chance of storms will be in the afternoon. It will be warmer down to the south with a chance for some 90s, 80s, and then 70s up north. And these storms will move off into central Minnesota before we get to the 10 o'clock hour. That's how the forecast was looking. You can check out my video on the forecast section here in just a minute. Let me see if I have any other last minute questions here before I check out, and I am going to sleep for a while. If there's big warnings or anything like that, you know I'll get back up. Steady rumble and some lightning in Roy Lake. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate all of you. Um, what do you make of the system sitting near Fargo around 7:15 as it sits and moves northeast? Let me get back to the radar here so I can see the radar data. Um, Okay, so the warnings for the southern Beltrami area dropped, and it's now a statement for 50-mile-per-hour winds. Same thing for Park Rapids. Roseau County, this warning is set to expire at 6:30, and we'll see what happens with those storms with regards to their risk for severe weather there. But we have not seen, as I mentioned, severe level winds. Now, there is some storminess out here, a little bit of thunder and lightning going on right now, but I don't see, well, I guess there's a couple of cells out to the west of us, but the risk of severe out there is fairly low, but it's not zero. So for now, I hope that takes care of your question. Seeing some lightning, Tanya says, in the Bemidji area, I indeed believe that to be the case. All right, that is a look at Hutch's weather. Thank you so very, very much for being a part of the conversation here tonight and asking your questions. The storms are strong out there. Still a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for our Roseau County areas, as well as parts of Lake of the Woods County and northwestern Beltrami County. That warning is in effect for just a little bit longer here until 6:30. That about covers it, though. The risk for severe weather does appear to be waning a little bit. These storms are going to continue to race off to the east, and then we will start a new day here on this Friday. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you missed the forecast, here's what we got tonight, or excuse me, this morning's temperatures in the 60s. I think I made a typo error on this Grand Forks one. This is supposed to be in the 70s there, but near 90 in Fargo, I think 88 to 89 again today, with the warmest weather down to the south and east of us on this boundary. Boom, shazam, this is where the storm should form in the afternoon. We have that line forming right now. Those are going to kind of fester through as we go through the day. 7 day planner shows weekend quiet, next week cooler by the time we get to the middle of your week. That's a look at your weather. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson for now. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. I'm going to get some rest and I'll check back in with you a little bit later. But for now, stay well and we'll talk again soon.